Welcome back, beautiful people. So today we're going to talk about expat life. So expat life, if you are a young professional who is planning to move somewhere else, or who just got a new job somewhere or an assignment, or who has this strong passion in helping out somewhere around the world, and then you are about to make a decision to move to a new country, or you are actually a person who has already been in this development cooperation and traveling abroad and living abroad and work abroad kind of life, but you are still in the learning process. It's actually a continuous process, so a continuous learning process. So let's get right to it. So here are a couple of things that would help you save a couple of frustrations and financial losses and all other stuffs. All right, the first thing is housing. So housing sounds very simple, right? So you go to the country, look for a broker, look for an apartment or a house that you want to rent. That's it. Especially if you are traveling with a family, that is quite a nightmare. Okay, I even made that mistake when I first moved to India, and then it was kind of disappointing because I could have done that before I left. All right, so don't rush it. Most of us, we make a mistake to actually look for a house once we are in the country that we are planning to move to, and it would save you a lot of frustrations if you do it ahead of time. So I would advise you learn from our mistakes, my mistake personally as well. So do it 2-3 months earlier. Contact an agent or find somebody who's in that country who would look for certain houses for you, even if they would link you up with an agent or a person that will look for you, and then start looking for houses. They will send you pictures, videos. It helps you decide, settle in if you want furnished and unfurnished, so your choice, but plan ahead. Because I had a friend also who moved to a country and they have been looking for a house for 6 months, okay, and then they were traveling with a family. I have had a lot of friends who had faced those challenges. I faced it personally as a person when I first moved to India. Even me and my family made our lives easier when we made a decision to look for the house before we actually go to the country that we are planning to go to. All right, so it saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of efficient house searching. You save a lot of money, like not running into the house that you you rush into because you are so desperate to find a house, but then you take your time and decide what fits to your finances and to your convenience. All right, okay, second one is location. So once we came to the housing thing, so you need to know the location, so where the office is located, and especially if you have young children or children who are going to school and traveling with you as well, it's better to make things convenient and halfway, because just because you like a certain house or it's convenient to school but really far from work, it causes kind of frustration. So like estimate the locations that it would fit for you. All right, you don't want to be driving 1 hour or things like that, because it's, yeah, learn from our mistake, because we had, like, our kids had to wake up like literally 5 in the morning because we had to drive, like they needed to go at least 1 hour to go to school because the school was pretty far. So but the place was super amazing, close to the beach, you know, but it's not always that's it was actually quite a burden. So yeah, just go halfway. All right, and if you are a single person, make it closer, not too close to work, but you know but then a little bit also, yeah, accessible. All right, let's dive to the third one. The third one is language. Okay, language and norms and culture things. We need to understand certain things beforehand, not to disappoint people, also like not to have a bad experience about the country, because the first impressions always make a huge difference. Okay, for me personally at least. All right, if it does for you. Okay, because for me, I like it when people are trying to speak a little bit of Amharic, because it shows an effort. Okay, and it shows an effort, it shows respect to the culture and all that. Okay, in different countries there are different norms. In some countries you don't shake hands with the guys. In some countries, you know, you don't put money in their hands. You rather put it on a plate and things like that. Okay, just know these things. I mean, you would eventually learn those things, but it would be nice to know ahead of time so you don't have a bad experience Okay, I hope that helps. And don't be scared to tell them honestly, and ask certain terms, and the effort, showing that effort to learn about the country's culture says a lot. Okay. All right, next is healthcare. So healthcare, especially if you don't know the country, and when you get sick, if you are single, you would not know what to do. You don't know anybody who would pick you up or take you somewhere. So you need to plan ahead in case of emergencies, that you have somebody if you are single, or if you have children as well. But my advice to you is keep your international insurance if you have insurance. And look, don't be scared of the local healthcare services, especially when it's like basic healthcare services, like if you have flu, all that stuff. And don't be so scared, because I have seen people being so paranoid about getting healthcare in certain countries. I'm in healthcare, so I know how that feels. But the basic things are like, it's basic science, all right? So don't be scared, but keep your, in case of bigger, heavier emergencies. We have had once an accident with my daughter. The insurance, like, it helps you psychologically and physically to heal your family member or yourself. All right, just keep your international healthcare for the major ones, but don't be scared to try out the local healthcare services wherever you go. All right, the other most important thing, you need access to internet, right? Internet, phone. So find out the best service is there and go into it right away, because you need communication. You need to read a lot and understand the country more. You need to get in contact with your people, because those connections with other people back home, or with your work, or even reading about that country, makes your transition fun and easygoing. All right, get it right away. You can start with the smallest data plan or anything. Okay, yes, connect. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Transport. And when you arrive, you would always use the airport taxi services. But after that, like, I would suggest personally to use the Uber or the Ride, or the local application services. Know them beforehand. I would avoid the motorbike ones before you actually get used to it, because they have it in Asia a lot. But your choice. My advice is not to use public transport initially, because until you understand the country and until you understand how things work, how to communicate, and all that stuff. Okay, just use the Uber or Ride or the local transport services using your app, because they are much more safer, and then you save your money a little bit, not to be cheated. All right, good, let's move on. Opening bank account is not as easy as it sounds. In different countries, they always have their own different rules, so know that. And mostly they would require a letter from your employer, and they want to see your income or things like that. Certain countries don't require at all, as long as you bring in the money. Know those things about that country, and talk to your employer or when you sign your contract and things like that, and then you're good to go. But most countries can be challenging. Okay, you cannot just open a bank account. Let's say my experience in South Africa, just because you need even for renting a house, they would need to see your monthly income and all that stuff. All right, and then who's the employer, because there's a lot of fear from crimes, and different countries, different rules. Let's follow that to make our lives easier, and then let your employers know that these are important things. Okay, so it's smooth as it can be. All right, let's move on. This one is specifically for the parents. Okay, for the parents who are seeking for school. All right, choice of school. My suggestion would be to enroll your kids in a more international group of kids. Okay, people from different countries, and best would be if there's a school that is affiliated with your home country. Like maybe if you are from Ethiopia, there's a school that is a little bit affiliated with Ethiopia that they would teach a little bit of Amharic and culture and all that stuff. If your kid is from Germany, maybe something affiliated with Germany. If you are from France, a French school would be ideal. So always check before you bring in your family, because not all the countries have, or different cities not necessarily have those kind of schools. So if you are from Italy, maybe you want to involve your kids with the Italian culture, you want them to learn Italian language, maybe, and just check that, because only specific places have those specific schools that fits to your interest. All right, Google. Jelly. Let's moving on. Next one will be, don't be scared to socialize. All right, don't be scared to socialize. And socializing can be really challenging in certain places. People are more closed, and they don't let anybody in, especially if you would be assigned in a smaller cities than the capital cities. People are more, but you can see it as a racism, you can see it as scared of foreigners kind of thing, but don't be scared to break that barriers and give it a try. All right, you never know what kind of amazing people that you would meet, and you would also meet some really horrible people. Just move on. All right, but don't be scared to socialize. Don't be scared to speak up. Don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to say where you are from. All right, no, honestly, because I can give you just a simple example, because in Hyderabad, people were asking me like, okay, where are you from? And then I would say from Ethiopia, and they would like, Ethiopia, where is that? And then in America, like most of the people that I met didn't know where Ethiopia is, or and all that stuff, not even in Africa. Like, that's in Africa. And then explaining was getting exhausting, so I started saying like a West Indies, because most of the people knew about cricket. So for cricket, the game, so they knew certain specific African countries, so I would just say those. Don't be scared. And don't be scared to make English mistakes, all right? Like, don't speak it up, all right? English is supposed to communicate us and bring us to understanding around the globe. So just say it, speak it out, and then people will understand it, and you will understand them. And that's the beauty of it. See that? Don't worry about it. Last but not least, enjoy your time. I made a mistake a couple of times in my experience. We made a mistake, like trying to just get the job done and move on, kind of thing, And there are times that I miss and I regret that I could have learned more. I could have spent more time with the local people instead of thinking that way. And I have learned my lessons from moving years after years. Now I have learned to make the most out of where I am, and I hope this helps for you as well. Make the most out of where you are in that season of your life, okay? If it would be 2 years contract, 3 years contract, whatever that is, 1 year, you can quit if you can't really tolerate it, okay? Some people are not made for such kind of jobs. It's okay, okay? It's not the end of the world, but make the most out of it, okay? Instead of missing back home or missing the previous country you've been in, and instead of looking forward for the next move, just enjoy that country, experience every aspect of it, go to local adventures, go to the sports people do, eat the local food, talk to the local people, okay? Don't miss out, because, and I promise you this, you would miss it. There are a lot of things I wish I have done when I was in Pakistan. There are a lot of things that I wish I have done. I wish I have learned Hindi pretty well. I had a chance. And then missing home, my mom calling, I was like 18, but don't make that mistake that I made, all right? So make the most of it. That moment, live it, okay? It's that beautiful season in your life that God, Allah, your provider, the universe gave you. Enjoy it. Serve for the thing that you promised you would serve 100%. And when it's time to move on, you move on. You gotta be ready for that. All right, that's it. That's all. I hope it helps you or your family member, anybody out there. Don't make the mistake that we made or I made, and I hope this teaches you something. We are in constantly learning and making slight correction from the mistakes that we have made, and then move on to the next country. All right, you got this. Okay, ciao.